investigations are continuing. So I think all necessary steps have been taken.
Mr. David Davis.
Mr. Speaker, I will resist the temptation to reply to the failure to provide a judicial inquiry in 4 words, those words being "see you in court," because it's quite plain that this decision will face judicial review, and that will take even more time and less closure. My right honourable friend asks us to accept that they have solved the problems, and ironically he cites in evidence of that a number of ISC reports from some years ago which are now understood to have got the answer wrong because they were misinformed. And the current ISC report, much better, much higher quality, was of course limited, as we heard from its chairman, by the restriction on witnesses. So the government's asking it to allow it to mark its own homework. If you want a real coruscating comment on that, look back at the Binyam Mohammed case and the comments of Judge Neuberger on both the government and agencies' handling of this throughout. It simply should not be allowed to do so. To the point that the government have solved the problems, I'm afraid that is plainly and demonstrably not true. And most clearly in the point raised by the Shadow Foreign Secretary, where there is not a prohibition on ministers approving torture. My right honourable friend says, well, they're required to obey the law. Well, so they were in 2002, when the law was precisely the same in terms of international convention. So that doesn't apply either. And we have evidence from 1 month ago, Mr. Speaker, when you allowed an urgent question in this chamber to the Minister of Defence, who had produced internal policy documents, which explicitly conceived of ministers approving cooperation with states that had used torture to acquire information. So plainly, the government has not learned its lesson yet. There are a number of reasons for having an inquiry: legal, reputational, operational, closure, and the simple one of keeping the promise we gave. And I'm afraid eventually the government will be forced to that position.
Minister.